Is this thing on? Are we live? Is this thing on? Are we live? The real question is, are we alive? And yes, we are. We had a whirlwind of a day. Um, yeah. I went out to buy a barbecue, and in the process, I managed to record a video of being in the eye of a tornado. I'm okay. I'm here. I'm fine. I'll show you guys the video in a sec. But first, I want to shout out all of our disco balls in Disco Ball Nation. There's no way, right? There's no way. Your boy, he's got the one-on-one. Yours truly at the one-on-one. Very sweet. Dirty Mike and the boys, he's at the 102. It's Amigo at the 104. Jonesy Juan Kenobi at the 107. Willie at the 108. Nick S at the 109. Dorsey B at the 111. Oh, screw you, Louis is now okay. Let's read the chats. Jonesy Juan Kenobi says, I'm swirling with excitement. You're a funny guy. You're a funny guy. I can appreciate the dad jokes. The dad jokes, I love it. I'm swirling with excitement too. I don't know if you noticed, but like the tunnel vision Thursday, like tunnel, like tornado tunnel. Guys, we got the thumbnail correlation, and it was Justin Jefferson at the 101. Let's freaking go. B. Dorsey says, cheers. B. Dorsey says, I got my buddies Screwy, Louie, and Dirty Mike and the boys up in here. I'm always down for a good soup kitchen, if you know what I mean. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got 8 disco balls out of 12 up in here in this Drafters $3 mini. Shout out to you beautiful people. I appreciate you guys. But yeah, as I said, I got caught in a tornado. So bear with me as I try to play this video for you guys. The beginning is like a little bit weird, but like there's no audio simply because I was recording it on Snapchat as I was like cursing on the phone about like how crazy it was. And I was on the phone with my wife. So this is the video. Yes, I'm enjoying some red wine. My nerves are bad. See that shit flying? Now look at this Honda CRV right here on the right. You see how it's sliding? Oh. Then shit really started popping off. See what I did there? That was insane. That was absolutely insane. But I'm live. I'm here. I'm grateful. I'm happy. And God is good. Had I not run to the car, I would have been caught in that. So I'm very lucky to be here. Jokes aside, like I'm still like shaking. My nerves are bad, but like I'm very blessed to be here. I'm very blessed to have this supportive community. And yeah, you guys are absolutely amazing. Antonio 69.55 says, what up? What up, buddy? Mike W says, thanks for the F Shack, Dirty Mike and the boys. Antonio 69.55 says, I saw the video before, didn't know. Oh yeah, that's me. That's me. Yeah, absolutely nuts, man. And like, I was asked to do an interview on CTV. CTV is like the Canadian version of CNN. And I said no, because like there's so many videos out there of the tornado. And it's like, what am I going to talk about? Like, hey, I know I survived a tornado, but why don't you come watch me tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time on Big Draft Energy in the $3 mini, and see that what Ontario really is missing. Forget about this fucking tornado. Let's do a draft together. I had nothing to talk about. I'm just grateful to be here. I'm grateful to be alive, and I'm grateful to draft with you beautiful folks. And if you guys don't know, we're about to tell you. We're actually drafting here on Drafters Fantasy Sports. We're drafting from Ontario. So it is available in Ontario. First place gets $30,000. There's $200,000 in total winnings. There's also the Drafters $2 million. It's a $20 buy-in. First place gets $200,000. $300,000, and there's $2 million in total winnings. We are doing it in best ball. Best ball is the most convenient way for you to draft. You have 20 rounds to fill your roster for depth. Each week, a starting lineup is composed of the following positions: 1 quarterback, 3 wide receivers, 2 running backs, 1 tight end, and 1 flex. At the end of the week, the best overall performances on your roster will be submitted in your weekly matchup. So no more leaving points on the bench, no more waiver wires, no more trades, none of that garbage. So if you sign up today using promo code DiscoDrafts1, you get up to $100 match with your initial deposit. Friendly reminder, all transactions are done in US dollars. So if you're Canadian like myself, just factor in for the differential between USD and CAD. And it's available pretty much in all of the states in the States. And it's available in all of Canada, including Ontario. Like, you could be from Iqaluit and be like, what up, drafters, and draft with us from Iqaluit. So yeah, that's what we're doing. This is where we're doing it at. And super cool day. I know Friendship Friday is the day we have beverages, but as I said, like, my nerves are like super bad. So cheers. Who else is having a beverage with their boy Disco right now? I know Antonio 69.55 is probably enjoying like a bong hit or a joint. Good for you. Can't do that. I already suffer from terrible anxiety. I can't imagine how bad my anxiety would be if I were to touch that. Cheers, brother. You're a legend. You're an absolute legend. I appreciate it. All right, we're on the clock. T. Higgins, DK Metcalf. We got a very solid 3 wide receiver start. We'll catch you guys up on the draft right after we read this chat. Brandon Dorsey says, on my second Labatt. So yeah, let's talk about the draft. Because I almost died today, drafters is like, hey, Disco, how about we give you the 101? I'm like, bet. They actually didn't say that. That would be cool, though. So we got the 101. We got Justin Jefferson, Dirty Mike and the boys. They got Jamar Chase in the soup kitchen. I'm sure he would have loved to have gotten T. Higgins. Screw Louis. I'm just going to call him Louis. He got Cooper. It's Amigo got Travis Kelce. Christian McCaffrey goes after that. Then Austin Eckler. Jonesy gets Tyreek Hill at the 107. So Tyreek Hill falling for some reason. Willie gets Stephon Diggs at the 108. Nick S. What's up, Nick? Good to see you in here, buddy. He gets A.J. Brown at the 109. CeeDee Lamb goes after that. Dorsey grabs Bijan Robinson at the 111. Last pick in the first round is in Amon-Ra St. Brown. The son got himself. And then the first pick in the second round is Devontae Adams. Dorsey then grabs Garrett Wilson. Tony Pollard goes. Nick S. grabs Jalen Waddle. Nick Chubb goes to Willie. Chris Olave goes to Jonesy Kenobi. Devontae Smith, Saquon. It's Amigo gets Patrick Mahomes, so he gets that Mahomes-Kelsey stack. Real original, bro. You know I love you, buddy. Louis grabs Jonathan Taylor. Jalen Hurts goes to Dirty Mike and the boys. T. Higgins is the last pick in the second round, and he goes to us. We start off the third round with DK Metcalf. Dirty Mike and the boys grabs Ramondre Stevenson. Louis grabs Keenan Allen. It's Amigo gets Derrick Henry. Josh Allen goes after that. Mark Andrews goes after that. Josh Jacobs goes to Jonesy Kenobi. Lamar Jackson goes to Willie. Breece Hall goes to Nick S. And then we're all caught up. Quasi just got home, said, I signed up for a $20. Nice. You're trying to keep that streak alive. Well, if your draft ends by the time this one ends, maybe we'll do a second draft again tonight. If you guys are up for a second draft, I'm up for a second draft. Antonio 69.55 says, you ever try Superflex, but Superflex different but kind of fun? Yeah, I love Superflex. I love IDPs. I love Dynasty. Like, if it involves fantasy football, I love it, right? There's no aspect of fantasy football that I'm like, no, I don't want to do it. The reason why I like best ball so much is like I can literally draft $153 minis, $50, $20 drafters 2 million, and not have to stress about waiver wires, not have to stress about trades, not have to stress about like any of that. I literally just draft and forget it unless it's winning me huge amounts of money, which is awesome. And it's great for being a content creator doing these best ball drafts. I don't know if it's available where you're at, but like doing these best ball drafts is like a content creator's dream. If I could do this 365 days of the week, I would. Not saying I hate doing like the other videos, but like I am so inept. Like I'm not good when it comes to like technology. So editing is like a big headache for me, and I already suffer from migraines. Sean Wilson said change up the avatar for this draft. Oh, it's a tornado. Oh, Willie. I just that in. Jesus Christ. Man, that avatar just blew me away. I could go all day with these dad jokes, baby boy. I could go all day with these dad jokes. Brandon Dorsey says, love Superflex. I'm in a Dynasty Superflex startup draft right now as well. So Antonio, he if I'm not mistaken, he is the guy who runs the 420 Fantasy Football Hustlers Network. And if you don't know about them, now you do. They're absolutely phenomenal. Big shout out to them. They run this big league on the Sleeper app, where it's got IDP, Superflex, all that good jazz. And they run a big tournament. They actually have like a house where people can like show up. And yes, 420 means that like they are very 420 friendly. So I will not be coming to the house. I'd come like dap you up to shout you up because you're a wonderful person. But other than that, like I don't want any of that secondhand smoke. None of that. Said, nope, that's not me. It's Alex. Oh, my bad. Anyways, still, regardless, shout out to the Fantasy 420 Hustlers Network. I believe it's called that. Those guys are super dope, super cool guys. But yeah, let's catch you guys up on the draft. I believe we finished off with, what was it, Breece Hall? Yeah, Breece Hall goes to Nick S. TJ Hawkinson. Dorsey grabs Judy. Deebo Samuel's the last pick in the third round. Amari Cooper is the first pick in the fourth round. Jahmyr Gibbs goes to Dorsey B. That's a homer move, man. I know you're a Lions fan now. Calvin Ridley goes. Nick S. grabs Christian Watson. Najee Harris goes to Will. We're on the clock. We'll catch up in a sec. All right. We'll go Joe Mixon and Aaron Jones. I just passed up on two tremendous quarterbacks, Justin Fields and Joe Burrow, and then also Justin Herbert. But I feel like we need to address the running back position. I like the move here. We're getting exposure to guys we typically wouldn't get exposure to. Obviously, Justin Jefferson goes at the 101 in like 99.99% of these drafts. So it's always cool when we can get him, especially on like thumbnail correlation day. That's so cool. We haven't had a thumbnail correlation hit in a really long time. So, man, just fell in my lap like that freaking tornado. We got T. Higgins, another guy who I don't have a lot of exposure to. I've been actually drafting a lot of Devontae Smith ahead of him. I'm getting a phone call. I'm going to hang up. Yeah, I've been actually drafting a lot of Devontae Smith ahead of him. But like today I sat down and I thought to myself, I was like, why am I taking Devontae Smith ahead of T. Higgins? Simply because like I just like the name and where he's at in ADP. T. Higgins is essentially like the same player, but where T. Higgins is more exciting to me is the fact that he has like a true, legitimate drop back quarterback who's not going to steal fantasy value and he's going to distribute the ball and he's going to distribute it in a very high volume. So if we're talking strictly volume and volume alone, then T. Higgins makes more sense for shots on net than Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith can have weeks where he'll absolutely disappear, right? And I'm sure T. Higgins can have weeks where he absolutely can disappear as well. But guess what? He's in a contract year. So like they're all balling here. So even though I don't have Joe Burrow correlation, I still have Higgins. I still have Mixon. If by some miracle Dirty Mike doesn't grab Joe Burrow on the way, there you go. Jonesy Wan Kenobi, snipe show. So Joe Burrow's gone. Had he come back, yeah, that would have been ideal. But I'd rather get two legitimate RB1s who are being faded and faded way too far. Yes, there's issues with Joe Mixon in terms of Joe Mixon like having legal issues for pointing a gun at somebody. But if Alvin Kamara's situation is any indication on how the NFL and how the legal system is going to handle Joe Mixon, then I'm okay getting Joe Mixon fourth round. Where last year you couldn't get him like it was like what early second, late first. That's where you'd get him. So yeah, Aaron Jones, another guy who's like he's not hurt. He's going to need to run the rock a little bit more simply because they got Jordan Love. So yeah, not a bad pick here as our first two running backs. DK Metcalf, we love the value. We like him. Hopefully we can get some more stacks along the way, but I don't see myself needing to build around DK Metcalf in terms of correlation purposes, because individually drafting DK Metcalf naked, no, not without his clothes on, but like naked as in like no stacks or correlation, means that like I'm comfortable with it because he's going to have several spike weeks. Jonesy Wakanobi says, I took Burrow around early yesterday. Get him today around late. It all evens out. I think you got him like right at ADP. Typically, you got him right at ADP. Yeah. I really would have liked Kenneth Walker to have fallen back to us, but people are starting to realize that like just because Zach Charbonnet is in Seattle doesn't mean that Kenneth Walker is dead. Like Kenneth Walker is going to be a baller. So look for this Surf Gypsy guy. He's definitely okay. He just reached on Dak Prescott, so he can get that correlation. So he's got the CeeDee Lamb, Tony Pollard, Dak Prescott start. Once again, if you have to reach for this correlation, you're not going to stand out just because you have a stack of that team. It's when he falls in a value or you get him at ADP, that's where this makes you stand out. But if you reach for it, you're actually doing worse than all the other people with the same stack. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I'll catch you guys up on the draft. I have no idea where I left off. I'm a couple of bevies in. Let's say Najee Harris to Willie with his swirly tornado thing. Christian Kirk to Jonesy, Drake London, Terry McLaurin, It's Amigo gets DeAndre Hopkins, DJ Moore goes to Louis, Travis Etienne goes to Dirty Mike and the boys. Soup kitchen time. Thanks for the F Shack. Joe Mixon, we take him with the last pick in the 4th round. We then take Aaron Jones with the first pick in the 5th round. Dirty Mike and the boys gets George Kittle. Deontay Johnson goes to Louis. It's Amigo gets Ayuk. Mike Williams, Tyler Lockett, Jonesy gets Joe Burr. Chris Godwin goes to Louis. Justin Fields goes to Nick S. Kenneth Walker. Dorsey grabs Justin Herbert. Last pick of the 5th round is Alexander Madison. First pick in the 6th round is Trevor Lawrence. Then Hollywood Brown goes to Dorsey. Dak Prescott goes way too early. Treylon Burks goes to Nick S. Michael Pittman goes to Willie. Mike Evans goes to Kyle Pitts. We're on the Clockamundo window. All right. So we'll take Jake. That's a crazy value. And then we'll also get some correlation here with Jackson Smith and Jigba. I like that. So this means we have to be eyeing Geno. The fact that I'm saying this out loud to you folks is a travesty because you guys are definitely going to snipe me, but it is what it is. So, yeah. Where did we leave off? Kyle Pitts. And then Gabe Davis goes after that. Cam Akers goes to It's Amigo. Jahan Dotson goes to Louis. Miles Sanders goes to Dirty Mike and the boys. With the last pick in the 6th round, we got JK. Dobbins. Like, I'm not kidding. JK, get it? First pick in round 7, Jackson Smith and Jigba. Dirty Mike and the boys grabs George Pickens. Damon Pierce goes to Louis. It's Amigo gets Kadarius Toney. Then Jordan Addison gets taken off the board. And we're going to have a sip of some wine. Wrong hole. That's what she said. And then we're going to chase that with some beer. And we're back. What's up? How's everybody doing? Everybody having a good time? Everybody having a great old time? So if you guys don't know, I'll tell you. We are doing a best ball draft here on Drafters Fantasy Sports. We're drafting from Ontario, so it is in fact available in Ontario. This is not a mock draft. This is a real money draft. You buy in for $3. First place gets $30,000. There's $200,000 in total winnings. So if you're like first place or like 500th place, you still leave with like a decent chunk of change. So that's why you see guys like myself with 89 drafts, this one being number 90, like Louis with 129, with Dorsey with 138. just so you get shots on net and, you know, correlation for different teams and different stacks and just different values everywhere else. There's also the Drafters 2 million. It's a $20 buy-in. First place gets $300,000. There's $2 million in total winnings. We are doing it in best ball format, and best ball is the most convenient way for you to draft. You have 20 rounds to fill your roster for depth. Each week, a starting lineup is composed of the following positions: 1 quarterback, 3 wide receivers, 2 running backs, 1 tight end, and 1 flex. At the end of the week, the best overall performances on your roster will be submitted in your weekly matchup. So no more leaving points on the bench, no more waiver wires, no more trades, none of that garbage. You literally just draft it and forget it. So say you get a guy like Dak Prescott at quarterback and you got a Tua Tagovailoa. Say Tua has a bad week and Dak balls out. Instead of having to fight with like leaving points on the bench, you're okay with it because whatever happens at the end of the day, without you moving a finger, just because you drafted for depth at any position, it's going to automatically apply your best points per week. And at the end of the year, the best, highest scoring team after week 17 wins all the moolah. So that's how it's ranked. It's not weekly matchup. It's not head to head. You're not drafting to win, you know, against the 11 other guys you're drafting against. You're drafting to beat 75,000 other people in the $3 mini. In the Drafters 2 million, it's 100,000 plus. So if you sign up to using promo code DiscoDrafts1, you get up to $100 match with your initial deposit. That's dollar for dollar. It's the best promo code out there. If they tell you otherwise, they're a freaking liar. Jonesy Wan Kenobi says that's what she said. I love you, man. Snowman says need to talk to drafters and more contests, maybe some with less max entries, smaller fields, etc. I understand the need for limiting max entries. Okay. Oh, this is a toughie. We're reaching. I know we said we shouldn't reach, but we'll take Kirk and we'll take Geno. So we're good at quarterback for the rest of the draft. That way we made sure no matter what we got. And I know I just gave Surf Gypsy a hard time about getting Dak ahead of ADP, but Geno wouldn't come back to us, especially since it's snake draft format. So yeah, and then Kirk Cousins, we got him right at ADP. So it would be nice to get a little bit more correlation with the Minnesota Vikings. Maybe we've got a couple of handcuffs. Who knows? So yeah, you said Snowman says it's good to see you in here. By the way, Snowman is a guy who maxed out $3 mini, so he's done 150 of them. So after you do 150 $3 minis or 150 drafters 2 million, you've maxed out. So the reason why they cap it is like if you're literally in every single draft and you're exponentially increasing your odds to win and take all of the money. So I understand for the drafters 2 million, like I would love to see it fill because I don't know what would happen if like they don't get the full 100,000 people. Like as of now, the drafters $3 mini, yeah, this will be done by like mid-August, if not sooner. So like that's why you got to sign up today. You're going to get a lot of good shots on net. You're going to get a lot of good practice, and you're going to get it at a good, affordable price. Because like if you're going to sign up on drafters and do one of these best ball tournaments, I highly recommend you get into like the smaller drafters, like $3 mini tournaments, as opposed to getting into right away the drafters 2 million, because like you want to get practice. And if you're like, oh, well, like redraft is my jam. I love redraft. Redraft is what I do. Well, like if you do 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 of these, I guarantee you, whatever redraft league you go into, you are going to blow your competition out of the water. They're going to have no chance. They're going to be caught in in a twister of your draft. Back to the whole tornado reference. Sean Wilson said, did drafters do a small, not to do a super draft best ball last year? Or was that just the weekly contest? You're asking the wrong dude, man. I love drafters to pieces because I just figured they exist. And like, I've been without best ball here in Ontario for a really long time because all those other cocksuckers left us. Yeah, fuck you, underdog. Sorry, I'm done cursing. But yeah, like it's just like, it's available, and I just found out it was available like right before the NFL rookie draft this year, and I signed up and I said, let's go. You know what I mean? And they've been super awesome in terms of like supporting me as a content creator and, allowing me to use. Oh, we got some thunder going on right now. I'm not scared. I'm not scared, guys. There's a little thunder up there. Quasi says they had a lot more last year, but they created tourneys with less entrants. Quasi says the $20 looks like it may have a huge overlay at current pace. Jonesy Wan Kenobi says overlay is beautiful. What do you mean by overlay? What's that mean? Am I stupid for not knowing it? Like, as a content creator, fantasy football content creator, is it bad that I don't know what an overlay is? Educate me. Snowman089 says more so meant that it's be cool to see some. Are you drinking or am I drinking? To see some context with only 3 to 20 max entries depending on roster and tournament size. Love how Drafters does traditional non-tourney stuff. Just want more contests. I'm like, as much as I'm loving these best ball stuff, like the reason why I'm good at best ball and why I can talk best ball is because like with those shots on net and getting unique correlation, it applies directly to like my bread and butter, which is DFS. I love DFS to pieces, so I'm very curious. Try out their DFS and see how it goes and how it works. Pat Freiermuth at this value, heck yeah. I have way too much Brian Robinson. All right, we'll take Rondell Moore. Even though I really wanted Brian Robinson, I have way too much Brian Robinson. I like this team. This is a good team so far. I really like the way we're drafting. Snowman says contests, correction. Okay. Quasi says they did a small super flex last year, sorry. Hopefully they'll do that again. That would be cool. I'd be down to hop into a super flex. Jonesy Wan Kenobi says doesn't fill all the way. That's what overlay means. Okay. Quasi says meaning the contest doesn't fill up. Thank you. Snowman says that means when the contest doesn't fill, so less people to compete against. So trying to type and get kids ready for bed. Gotcha. Quasi says, but doesn't affect the prize pool since the structure is guaranteed. Okay, so no matter what, like $2 million is guaranteed. So if it doesn't fill, we get more moolah. But do I like selfishly say do not draft on drafters? No, draft on drafters. It's a hell of a good time. I freaking love it. Jonesy Wan Kenobi says, so you're getting in the money percentage automatically goes up since there are less people in it. I'm going to do way more 20s now. I'm going to do way more 20s. But once again, if you sign up using promo code DiscoDrafts1 on Drafters Fantasy, you get up to $100 match with your initial deposit. So say you deposit $100. Well, guess what? You're going to get another $100 on top of that. So you'll have 200 buckaroos to play around with here on this app. And it's a hell of a good time. It's super, super wild. Super wild. Such a good time. I'd catch up on the draft, but I generally have no idea where we left off. So yeah, that's that. But what I can do is I can actually look at all of our Disco Balls drafts and see if any of the other drafts are something I like. So Dorsey went Bijan, Garrett Wilson, Jerry Jeudy, Jahmyr Gibbs, Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert was kind of like, oh, I just want Justin Herbert kind of pick, I guess. Too many little bats. Marquise Brown, David Montgomery, Dalvin Cook, David Njoku, Jacoby Myers, Rashee Rice. So zero correlation. Am I wrong? Is there a correlation? Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. There's some correlation there. Okay. Seen you do better, buddy. But I like your team. AJ Brown. This is Nick S's team. AJ Brown, Jalen Waddle. Like that start. Breece Hall. Love that start. Christian Watson. Really like the start. Justin Fields. Like the start. Treylon Burks. Rachaad White. Rashad Bateman. Tua Tagovailoa. Damian Harris, Khalil Herbert. Not bad. I like it. Willie went Stephon Diggs, Nick Chubb. It's crazy. Nick Chubb was going in the 3rd round. That's why he pays to draft early. Lamar Jackson, Najee Harris, Chris Godwin, Michael Pittman, Dallas Goedert, Zay Flowers, Anthony Richardson. So some Anthony Richardson correlation there. In hindsight, you probably should have taken Jonathan Taylor if you're going all Colts. Alvin Kamara in round 10. So that's more like that's more like it. I'd expect to see Alvin Kamara around round 10. And Devon Achane. And then Nick S also grabbed Elijah Mitchell. So he's doing his handcuff work again, or his dual RB work. I like it. Jonesy goes Tyreek Hill, Chris Olave, Josh Jacobs, Christian Kirk, Joe Burrow, Mike Evans, DeAndre Swift, Isaiah Pacheco, Tyler Boyd, Dalton Schultz, Jamal Williams, Derek Carr. So he's got Chris Olave, Carr, and Jamal Williams. Okay. That's good. It's Amigo goes Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, Derrick Henry, DeAndre Hopkins, Brandon Ayuk, Cam Akers, Kadarius Toney, Michael Thomas. Oh, we're on the clock. DJ Chark. And we'll take Tyler Algier. I was going to take Kendre Miller, but I'm trying to get way more exposure to Tyler Algier. There's no reason why he should be faded as far as he's being faded, so I'll take advantage of that. Jonesy Wakanobi says last year it was 44,119 out of 50. What is that? 55,008. Oh, Jesus, for the 20. What was the overall payout there? I definitely think that they're going to exceed that simply because I'm here promoting the hell out of this. Like me and drafters, we tight. So I want to see drafters do well because if drafters does well, I do well. You know what I mean? So let's fill it up. Fill her up. Because next year, if it gets filled, it means the prizes are only going to get bigger, right? Drafters is not greedy. They're going to give back to the community. So let's fill her up. All right, we're at It's Amigo. So we said Michael Thomas was the last name, Antonio Gibson, Romeo Doubs, Juju Smith-Schuster, KJ Osborne. So KJ Osborne was the guy I was looking for, but you snagged him. And Dalton Kincaid. Screwy Louie goes Cooper Kupp, Jonathan Taylor. So he goes Hero RB. Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Deontay Johnson, Jahan Dotson, Damian Pierce, Darren Waller, James Cook, Jared Goff, Brian Robinson, Tyler Higbee, sorry, Matthew Stafford. I'm trying to see. Okay, so you got the Higbee, Stafford, Cup. Oh, it's Amigo snag Cam Akers for me, man. He does that, man. He's a snipe machine, that guy. Yeah, I like it. Dirty Mike and the boys goes Jamar Chase. Jalen Hurts goes crazy at the running back position. Ramondre, Travis Etienne, George Kittle, Miles Sanders, then George Pickens, then A.J. Dillon, Sky Moore, Darnell Mooney, Van Jefferson, Jonathan Mingo, Adam Thielen. Yeah, I'd get 5 wide receivers in a row if I started like a madman like that. Dirty Mike and the boys. This is what I call a soup kitchen kind of draft, man. I like it. We got 13 people up in here. What's up, everybody? Say hello. What's going on with my mustache? It's like I look like Jim Carrey from Sonic. All right, so far we got Justin Jefferson, T. Higgins, DK Metcalf, Joe Mixon, Aaron Jones, J.K. Dobbins, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Kirk Cousins, Geno Smith, Pat Freiermuth, Rondell Moore, DJ Chark, Tyler Algier. This is a very unique draft for us. I'm really liking our lineup. I bet you my mom called me to be like, why are you drinking beer? Or why are you drinking wine? Love you, mama. Am I the only one in this group who enjoys a nice glass of red? Let me know. Do you guys appreciate a good red? Oh, that is a good red. This is what we're drinking tonight. Francis Coppola. And we're doing better than Coors Light today. We got Stella Artois. Mike Dudley said, fixing to have ourselves a screw party here in this Prius. That is the most quotable movie in movie history, hands down. If you guys don't know what the movie is, it's called The Other Guys with Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg. Michael Keaton is also there. Eva Mendes is there. Shout out to Eva Mendes. Who else is in there? The Rock. There's a Rock sighting there. Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Samuel Jackson. Aim for the bushes. Dirty Mike, aim for the bushes. You know what that means. Yeah, just an all-around tremendous comedy. So underrated. It's so freaking funny. Sean Wilson's laughing. What you laughing at, baby boy? Huh? What you laughing at? Is my mustache doing that thing again? Probably is. Brandon Dorsey says, I don't think my palate has adjusted for wine. Give me the hard liquor and beer, baby. You're probably much younger than I am. Like, you're probably much younger than I am. Like, your palate does different things when you grow old and get wise. Shots fired. Pew, 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 pew. All right. We grabbed Jaden Reed and Tyquan Thornton. So we'll catch you guys up from when we grabbed Tyler Algier. So we went in round 13, Tyler Algier. Dirty Mike and the boys got Adam Thielen. Snowman says, a good bourbon barrel aged red is killer. Where can you get that kind of red? Asking for a friend. So Dirty Mike and the boys gets Adam Thielen. Matthew Stafford goes to Screwy Louie. Dalton Kincaid goes to It's Amigo. Then Devin Singletary. Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Gerald Everett goes to Jonesy Wakanobi. Alec Pierce goes to Willie. Cole Kmet goes to Nick S. Kendra Miller. Donovan Peoples-Jones goes to Dorsey. Last pick in round 13 was Irv Smith. First pick in round 14 was Kenneth Gainwell. Dorsey then grabs Roshan Johnson. Then Jordan Love. Nick S. gets Rashid Shaheed. Chuba Hubbard goes to Willie. Paris Campbell goes to Jonesy Wakanobi. Paris Campbell is climbing in these draft boards, and it disgusts me. There's like 18 wide receivers on the New York Giants football team, and none of them are good. They're all the same freaking person. So I'm fading all of them. Then Jerome Ford, Brock Purdy, Tajay Spears goes to It's Amigo. Sam Laporta goes to Louis. Dirty Mike and the boys grabs Marvin Mims. We finish off round 14 with Jaden Reed. Start off round 15 with Tyquan Thornton. This draft is going a lot slower than yesterday's. So we start off round 15 with Tyquan Thornton. Bryce Young goes to Dirty Mike and the boys. Isaiah Hodgins then goes off the board to Screwy Louie. It's Amigo gets Curtis Samuel, Khalil Shakir, Donta Foreman. Jonesy grabs Zeke. That's the problem about drinking beer on stream, is like you gotta burp so much, so you gotta like interrupt yourself, and you don't want to like just belt out to like a disgusting burp. Do you? I don't want to do it. I really want to do it. Taysom Hill goes to Willie. Nick S grabs Raheem Mostert. Then Jawan Johnson goes. Then Dawson Knox goes to Dorsey Bizzle. Kenny Pickett's the last pick in round 15. Tim Patrick's the first pick in round 16. Kyler Murray then goes off the board to Dorsey. Hunter Renfrow are all caught up. Why can't I read? Okay. Twister Thursday is turning into Thirsty Thursday. It's actually Tunnel Thursday, but whatever. Are you having a bevy? Kobe and the Cattle Dogs, are you having a bevy? Bevy? Johnny Wakanobi says, Paris is the only one I'm confident in to have a specific role in the offense. Here's mine. Paris Gamble's been in the NFL for how long? When has he had a specific role in any offense? Don't worry, I'll wait. And if Saquon sits, which it looks like, they're getting closer to the July 17th date where Saquon has to make a freaking decision on whether if he wants to sign the franchise tender, and he said he definitely doesn't, or the Giants have to reset their running back market with his new contract, which the NFL really doesn't want. So with that being said, they're not going to be efficient offensively because Daniel Jones is not a good passing quarterback. So why invest in any of their wide receivers at all? You might get one spike week out of 13 or 15 of those busters. Their best receiver is no longer on that lineup. If you guys know who I'm talking about, comment. Brandon Dorsey says, I'm 25. I love a good bourbon. I don't know about a bourbon barrel aged red, though. Fair. Brandon Dorsey says, my girlfriend likes red wine, and she's tried to get me into it, but hasn't had any luck. Have it with a nice steak. Or you know what? When I was young and naive like you, I'm done sending shots, but you're actually a gem, and I shouldn't send shots. But when I was a young dumbass, no, I'm kidding. I think the thing that got me the most into wine was I went to a winery, like on a wine tour, and I got wine drunk, and like I actually was smart about it, and I learned about like the differences in all kind of reds. I can't stand white wine. I learned the difference in all of the reds, and got wine drunk in the process. And it's a hell of a time. Go on a wine tour, head over to Niagara Falls. It's wine country. Go to California, wine country. You know what I mean? Go on a nice wine tour, get wine drunk, and try to learn about like the different tannins and what makes what taste like what. Know what I mean? And it's so good with a nice steak. If you like steak, you need to have a red with it. At least a red with a nice steak. Sean Wilson says, I OC Quasi draft Campbell, so now I draft Campbell. Slayton is getting the most money by a lot. He's going to have guaranteed role. He has to have a guaranteed role. And I think Sterling Shepard's also getting paid a significant amount as well. So he also has to have a guaranteed role as well, but he's going undrafted. And then Jalen Hyatt was picked with relatively high draft capital, so he has to have a role. So those three all have to have a role. Paris Campbell is a tweener. So at best, he's a wide receiver 3A and 3B in an inefficient wide receiver room in general. And then like the guys like Isaiah Hodgins and Wandell, like they're all fighting for like that fifth spot, or if any injuries happen. Quasi says, I actually have low ownership of Paris, only 5%. Yeah, I have 0%. Mike W says, went to a wedding reception and winery last year, top 3 hangover, but probably like top 3 freaking weddings that you've been to or receptions. It's a hell of a good time. I'm telling you, man. My wife's from wine country, so anytime we're up there, we try to hit up as many wineries. My mother-in-law is like the best to party with. Honestly, she's the best to party with. Love that lady to pieces. Jones and Wakanobi says Galladay has a nice salary and had no role when he actually played drafting people because the contracts is not a good strategy in my opinion. I could be wrong though. Yeah, but he didn't get in because of like he didn't not play because he was a bad football player or there was any disputes within the locker room. He just like dude was broken. His body just couldn't handle and tolerate, football anymore. He signed a big contract, broken. Right? Kenny Galladay in Detroit was one of my favorite wide receivers, honestly. He broke his hip and came back and played. Like, dude is tough. He's just going through a lot of injuries. Quasi says Slayton, I have the highest ownership at 22%. I think mine is Sterling Shepard, and it's like no higher than 7%. Sean Wilson said, just took Slayton. W. Snowman says, I think Slayton's the most owned Giants wide receiver. Yeah, and Sterling Shepard is the wide receiver too there. And he is one of the least owned, if not like the least owned. Brandon Dorsey says, that's fair. I'd rather do a distillery for some good bourbon or whiskey. Yeah, but like after 2 shots, you're not going to remember shit. This is like you get to enjoy the scenery. It's nice view. You get to do some tasting, some wine pairings. You know what I mean? Like it's like it could either be a quickie or you can make love. You know what I mean? Wine is like making love. There you go. It's great. It's great. All right. Jake Ferguson, no exposure to him, so we'll grab him. And then Josh Downs in round 19. Why the hell not? I remember when he was going off the board like top 12 rounds when these drafts first started. Brandon Dorsey says, I'm going to the Buffalo Trace Distillery in Kentucky really soon. You're going to a Buffalo distillery in Kentucky. That's a mind bender. Quasi says Hodgins should be interesting as he dominated the red zone opportunities when he was called on. So to take over for the injured teammates, the chemistry built last year could carry over. Yeah, but like whatever chemistry was created in the passing game was due to the fact that Saquon Barkley drew 7 to 8 men in the box. If Saquon Barkley does not play, you can expect defenses to play more honest because Eric Gray is not a terrifying running threat. Matt Breida is not a terrifying running threat. And teams will play Daniel Jones way more honestly, so Daniel Jones won't benefit as well. So Darren Waller is going to get double teamed. You're going to get no time because that O-line, even though they've improved simply based off of play calling because they're such a run-heavy team. If there's no Saquon there, fade the whole freaking offense, including Waller. Fade them all. Fade them all. It is going to be the worst team in the NFC if Saquon does not play. Hands down. Like, their defense is still god-awful. Saquon's the only, like, he ran the clock. He kept things close. He broke games open. Like, anything you needed Saquon to do, he did for that team. I'm pretty sure he passed for touchdowns. Like, Saquon is the hardest worker in the room. He's the most exciting player in football, and you don't want to give him guaranteed money, but you go and pay that Shmi Daniel Jones, who is nothing without Saquon. I hope Saquon Barkley sits this year so the Giants can eat their words. Like, as a football fan, like it tastes like dirt coming out of my mouth saying I hope Saquon Barkley sits because he's my favorite player to watch. But like they need to put some respect on him. If you're going to pay Daniel Jones that kind of amount of money, it doesn't matter about the RB market. You got to put some respect on Saquon's name. He is a generational talent. He's an angel. Yeah. I'm done my my rant. Brand Dorsey says, "Man, it takes a hell of a lot more than 2 shots to get me drunk." Oh, that's right. You're drinking that American stuff, that weak stuff. My bad. I forgot. Forgive me. Forgive me. Come down to Canada. Come over here to the Alps of Canada so we can show you what a real brew tastes like, what a real cup of red tastes like. You know, get you some real beers, get you on that Molson Canadian, man. Nick. Quasi says, I can't see Saquon sitting and losing the 10 million. Here's the thing. If Saquon sits and loses the 10 million this year, guess what? He's going to make double the amount next year and every year moving forward. Like, if Saquon does not reset the running back market, the running back position is dead. So I've been saying this before, and I'll say it again. Like, he is doing this for the future of the running back position. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So it's bigger than Saquon. It's bigger than him. And yeah, if he can get a nice check at the end of the day, why the hell not? Okay, somebody grabbed Eric Gray. Screwy Louie's been listening. I like it. All right, who's a tight end that we don't have a lot of exposure to? Durham Smythe. All right, we're done our draft. Quasi says there's no guarantee the way the owners have been treating RBs lately. Listen, like, if you think Saquon's going to get a contract, you have to like look back at as far as like what happened with just this offseason, the current offseason we're in, before Austin Eckler signed his franchise tag, right? he signed his franchise tag with incentives. But what happened before that was they said, hey, you're free to go look for trades and see if there's any team out there that'll pay you what you think you deserve. Out of 32 NFL teams, not a single one said Austin Ekeler deserves to be paid over the franchise tag amount. But what we can do is give you incentives. If that is not an indication on what's to happen moving forward, the only reason why Saquon, and like here's the biggest differential between like Saquon and Josh Jacobs sitting out as opposed to like guys like Tony Pollard and Austin Ekeler sitting out, is Saquon and Josh Jacobs benefited from a first round draft pick paycheck, right? Their contract was paid as a first round draft pick. Tony Pollard was making $900,000 last year. So yeah, $10 million for one season when he made $900,000 for the last 4 years. Yeah, that's a big jump. He has to sign. It makes sense, right? Because like that's life-changing money for him. Even though he's in the NFL, he made $900,000, like $900,000 is a lot. Don't get me wrong, but like in the NFL, it's pennies. So he had to sign. Austin Ekeler, same thing. He was a late round pick, if not an undrafted player, and he was playing for pennies and balling out. Didn't ask for anything. Come contract negotiation, they're like, hey, like here's a franchise tag. Go see if any other, and this is how you know all the NFL owners are in cahoots. Because like if Austin Ekeler can't get picked up by one of the 32 teams and reset the running back market, that means the running back market is doomed. Because look at it next year. Guys like other than the guys we named who are on a franchise tag, AJ Dillon, Joe Mixon, DeAndre Swift, Jonathan Taylor, several others, they're all expected to renegotiate their contracts. So if the running back market is lower and lower every year, means they're not going to have a lot of negotiating rights come next season. So if they sit out this year, it's bad for football, bad for running backs. But if they sign the franchise tag, it's worse for running backs. Sean Wilson says, are we actually doing another lobby just open up? Probably not. I think I'm done for the day. I've had enough excitement for the day. Dorsey said, only one for me tonight, trying to spread my last few out a little bit more. You spread it. Spread it for me. All right, let's talk about our draft and then see you guys tomorrow for Friendship Friday. Let me know either in DMs or in the chat right now. Are you guys down for a Drafters 2 million for Friendship Friday tomorrow? Because I really want to do a Drafters 2 million. But like, I also want to draft with you guys. Because if I'm not doing a Drafters 2 million without you guys, then I'm not doing it. I'll draft in the $3 mini until you guys want to draft it in the Drafters 2 million. You guys get to dictate what I do. Okay, so please let's do the Drafters 2 million. I'd love to do the Drafters 2 million with you guys tomorrow. So at quarterback, we took Kirk Cousins and Geno Smith. Running back, we got Joe Mixon, Aaron Jones, J.K. Dobbins, Tyler Algier, Ty Chandler, and Pierre Strong. That's a very good running back room at a very great value. Wide receiver, we went Justin Jefferson, T. Higgins, DK Metcalf, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. And then we just went high ceiling players. So Rondell Moore, DJ Chark, Jaden Reed, Tyquan Thornton, Josh Downs. Tight end, we went Pat Freiermuth, who's quickly becoming our second most drafted tight end, to Jelani Woods. Jake Ferguson, who this might be my first share of, and Dermot Smythe, who I think I've drafted a couple times. But Dermot Smythe is a starting player in the NFL. He's a starting tight end. He's going undrafted. So yeah, I'll get exposure there. Jonesy Wankonobi says, I'm good for whatever. I'll see you tomorrow, big fella. Guys, I generally appreciate your support. We survived a tornado. It was a whirlwind of a day. It was a whirlwind of a draft. Felt the gusts. I actually could use a gust right now. I'm sweating bullets. I love you guys to pieces. Thank you so much for your support. Friendship Friday, have your bevies ready. Because like, it's about to be crazy. And let's do the Drafters 2 million, fellas. That's my challenge to you. Let's get into the Drafters 2 million tomorrow for Friendship Friday. Would mean a lot to me. Anyways, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, I'm not going to curse. Please do so. It would mean a lot if you subscribe to the channel. The moment we get to 150 subscribers, I'll do a giveaway. I'll do a Drafters 2 million giveaway. The moment we get to 200 subscribers, I'll give away 3 tickets. I'll give away 3 drafters 2 million tickets. And yeah, let's keep going. This was fun. Jonesy said, next time there's a tornado warning, stay inside a building, please. I didn't. Okay, so I'll tell you guys a story before I let you guys go. Okay, I'll tell you guys a story. So I'm out shopping for a barbecue. All right. So I go to Home Depot and they have everything I want in the barbecue because I want to go with a coal barbecue just because like a charcoal barbecue tastes so much better. They have everything I want except for like the chimney smoker. And if you don't know what chimney smoker is essentially like a good way to start your charcoal barbecue without having to use a fan for 25 minutes and break your arm in the process. So I'm thinking efficiently. On the way out, a girl and her mom say, oh my God, I just got a tornado warning. And I look at my phone and there's no warning. And as I'm walking outside, like it's a torrential downpour, like a crazy rainstorm. So I'm like, I'm not going to melt. My name's not Snowman. Shout out to Snowman089. So I ran and sprinted to the car. The moment I got inside my car, I started calling my wife. I had her up on speaker. And I'm looking outside. And I'm like, babe, did you know there's a tornado warning? She's like, no. I was like, babe, there's a tornado warning. She's like, oh, okay. Like, all like, whatever, there's a tornado warning. Who cares? So nonchalant. I'm like, trying to give her a guilt trip, trying to be like, babe, like, you know, I'm out here, like, risking my life trying to get a barbecue and whatnot. And you're so nonchalant. And as I'm trying to think of a guilt trip to, like, send back, I look up and I see, like, debris flying, like, everywhere, just debris. And I'm like, oh my God, babe, it's fucking starting. It's happening. She's like, what? And thank God there's no audio because like I recorded on Snapchat and I was freaking out. Like I sound like a total complete like softie. Like I'm freaking out, man, like losing my mind. I'm like, babe, it's starting. She's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, the tornado, it's happening right in front of me. She's like, what? Show me. So I'm like, she actually doesn't speak like that. I'm sorry, babe. But like, she's like, show me. I'm like, okay. So I'm like, I'm sending it to you on Snapchat right now. Stay on the line in case anything happens. And then my car starts shaking, like violently, side to side. If you look at the video, you'll see like the Honda CRV, the black one, like to my 3 o'clock, starts sliding because of how strong the wind is. So car starts shaking violently, and like the sound, I can't express to you like how like terrifying the sound was. It sounded like you hear just things crackling, smashing, hitting. Things start flying as I'm recording, and then there's explosions to my right. So this big like sign and like power breaker exploding. Trees are falling, like the big huts where you know they put the carts at Home Depot is flying like 70 feet, 100 feet in the air. Absolutely bonkers. And I'm just like holding onto my steering wheel, thinking like, dear God, let me get home to my wife. Let me get home to my disco balls so I could draft with them. And yeah, the Lord got me home, and we're here, and that's my story. It's pretty wild, then. Anyways, God bless you all. See you tomorrow. Peace. Hopefully, we'll get some DeAndre Hopkins news tonight.